Every Zelda game has a core gimmick that the game revolves around. For Breath of the Wild, that gimmick was exploration and player freedom. Tears of the Kingdom looks to be building upon that gimmick by also injecting it with a healthy dose of crafting gameplay mechanics. The Zelda team has successfully managed to put Minecraft into their game. Kidding aside, some of the biggest details revealed from the hands-on gameplay preview for Tears of the Kingdom showed what a large part of the game is going to revolve around, namely crafting. But before we take a deeper dive into this gameplay, make sure that you're subscribed and turn those notifications on for even more content on Tears of the Kingdom. Using your imagination to solve puzzles and traverse the expanded Kingdom of Hyrule is significantly more detailed this time around. This is done with Zonai crafting materials Link can find scattered across the skies and surface, as well as through the functionality of giant gumball machines that disperse various parts Link can use. This gotcha machine requires Zonai charges as payment for these materials. After placing them on this cooking pot structure, the machine spits out materials that go into your inventory for you to use later on. The parts can vary from steering controls to actual rockets for jet propulsion. Jets and fans will play a large role in how we will be able to reach the other sky islands, but the intrinsic nature of all the other parts means you can create just about anything to complete your objectives. Take for example the flame emitter. This device can not only be used as an attachment you can fuse to a shield or weapon, but can function as a fuel source to create a hot air balloon. The sheer amount of variety and freedom the devices offer is just immeasurable. Your own creativity is really your only limit here. All of these crafting components require battery power to run. We've seen these giant cylinders before, but now know that they are additional batteries that can power your creations. The small holster on Link's side was also confirmed to hold permanent spare batteries that replenish their power back over time, much like a stamina meter. This could mean that battery upgrades are going to be a reward option for whatever the new shrine equivalents are, or something that gets a gradual upgrade after progressing further into the game. Seeing as the heart meter and stamina gauge appear to work identically to Breath of the Wild, the spare batteries could take place of the heart container you would obtain after defeating a dungeon boss in a traditional Zelda game. There's a grand total of 8 battery slots, which could equate to the number of dungeons the game could have. Notably, if you create something with the giant cylinder batteries, those will deplete before Link's personal stash. Of all the new abilities, Ultra Hand looks to be one of the more widely utilized, essentially taking the place of Magnesis. Ultra Hand works on pretty much anything not glued down. This ability is how we will piece together our creations. Ultra Hand gives you the option to rotate items on an X and Y axis, and we can see that positioning does factor into how the devices respond. The rocket's trajectory, for example, is entirely dependent on how you place them. Ultra Hand will play a part in puzzle solving as well. Finding creative solutions with materials you can place anywhere looks to be an intentional gameplay design to make you think of new and inventive ways to solve puzzles. There's also the new ability Auto Build. This was apparently supposed to remain under NDA, but was leaked from one of IGN's demonstrations. Auto Build allows you to save creations you make with Ultra Hand and build them at a later time as long as you have the materials to make it. This is an ability picked up later in the game and solves what was my biggest initial concern. The idea that so much of the game revolves around creation is amazing and creates so many chances for unique gameplay, but it could also bog the game down if most of our time is spent playing around with Ultra Hand and trying to make things. Auto Build solves this issue. Fuse again is shown off, but there's not really anything new about the ability itself, but we did get a greater look at the variety of materials that can be used and how they can alter or even create weapons. One of the coolest being the magic rod that can be fused with different gems to create the elemental rods we saw in Breath of the Wild. It also appears that elemental weapons and arrows might not be in the game in the traditional sense. Instead, it looks like the main way to acquire elemental weaponry will be through the fuse ability. This gives a great excuse for players to explore and seek out combat for materials. On the other hand, I do worry that with Fuse playing such a large role in this way, that the pace of combat will be slowed. Following through your menu for a different Fuse material every few seconds kinda makes it feel like we might spend more time in a menu than actually fighting enemies. I really hope that isn't the case, and it feels really fast and intuitive. Crafting is going to play a giant part in Tears of the Kingdom. For a sequel to a game that's whole gimmick was player freedom, this just seems like the next natural progression of that idea. No two people's experiences are going to be the same in this game, and I think that's incredible. Sandbox type games are a dime a dozen, but the level of detail and intricacy with all the various materials and objects in this game looks to be on a scale we've not seen before, especially in a Zelda game. But you tell me, what do you think of crafting in a Zelda game? Let me know in the comments down below. That of course will bring us to the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching as always. Tears of the Kingdom is right around the corner and there's going to be a ton of stuff to talk about, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on all the new content surrounding the game. Like the video if you liked it, and as always, I will see you in the next one.